What's good,
Woo!
people? Welcome back to What's Up TV for All You Can Eat Warriors. And it's great to have my man Ash back with me, man, after a massive, massive weekend. And I was like, Ash, how you been, bro? How's things going? I know you've been traveling around the world lately. You got to do some more traveling, I think. How's it all going, man?
Oh, first of all, I want to touch on that brand new beat you got on the on the channel, bro. That is gangster. I love
I need to
that.
get a turkey. Wait, this could be bald underneath. No one knows. Maybe I've shaved my head. I could be going for the turkey hairline soon, man. I'll be straight up.
DJ Levon, baby, that was craziness. That was craziness. But yeah, bro, I've been coming back from Sydney. I got to see a my missus cousin's boyfriend's birthday. So shout out to everyone down there in Sydney. Went to Bankstown, was really interesting down there. Colder than Queensland, as we would believe, a little bit going further south. But all keen and ready to go for my trip to New Zealand this weekend to hopefully back up what we did over the nights over last weekend. Yeah.
He's gonna come in hot like liquor on Friday morning, people. So be ready. Ash is hitting the ground running, and we've got some cool stuff that we got really lined up for him to do. So everyone that's been in the chat, we talked
Woo.
about Rainbow Zen. We've talked about bakeries and pies. We've talked about we've got heaps lined up for the bro to do. So and we can't wait to see everyone as well that's coming to the meet and greet on Saturday, starting at 1 p.m. For everyone that's booked in. I think you already know, but we can't wait to see you guys. We got everything nearly ready. Just getting the final things, the Kahoot, bro. Just gotta find those tough, because I know these guys. These guys will know everything. So I got to find the extra hard questions in the Kahoot for them to, you know what I mean? I don't want to give
I
them
see.
easy ones, yeah.
We'll talk. We'll
It'll be a
talk,
little bit
mate. We'll
tricky.
talk.
Yeah, yeah. But people, welcome into all of our channel members and everyone that's coming in, man. Thank you very much for all your support and kindness and come in. We're gonna start off, hot right now. Mr. Super Lekker,
Oh,
Super. Delivers an all-time Warriors moment, man. Maybe just talk first, Ash, about talk how you will, bro, about the game, or if you want to touch on liquor first or whatever it is. But man, just what a game, what a performance, and what a solo effort. I haven't seen that in that fashion ever before in that moment. But I'll chuck it to you, man. Yeah, share what you will about what you saw on Sunday night.
yeah. We'll touch on Lecker first of all, and then we'll roll through our thoughts around the game and all that sort of
Sure, man.
stuff. Yeah, but if you guys are obviously been a fan of the channel for a long period of time, you already know how much I love Lecker and how much when I first saw Lecker at SG Ball and I saw the ability of him, I was like, oh god, this kid. He's gonna be something special. He is honestly, Levon can attest to it. I've been saying that this is out of all the kids, that all the juniors that we had coming through, Vaimonga, formerly known as Sifakula, Jacob Laban, who was getting a lot of media traction earlier. I was like, nah, bro. This kid Lecker, he's
Yeah.
honestly got the skill set. I've always said he's got the skill set of Jeremiah Nanai, but just this aggression streak in him. I'd say the more I see him, even more, I'm just like, you know, his ball running ability is just something I haven't seen too much before in an edge back rower. Like you got to give him early ball, allow him to use his footwork, that
Mm.
right foot, left foot, man. With speed and power. I think the craziest thing about that try over the weekend is, standing start, ball gets picked up there. You put it out in your video below his feet, scooped it up like nothing. Usually you see those ones get knocked on, you know what I mean? But he scooped it up like nothing. And we've seen in other games he gets some errors due to some sticky spray. So obviously the sticky spray was working real hard in that game out there. So shout out Lecker and his sticky spray out there. But when he was at a standing start, him and Braden Best were right next to each other.
Yeah, they were.
And then you see the explosiveness of Leysima, and Brady Best is no slouch in the speed end, bro. And the only time that Brady kind of really gained on him was due to that big left foot, right foot on Dane Gagai, and for him to, just a power through and power over with three men on him. Like, man, honestly, what more praise can I have? Like, he's gone from just an impact bench player coming in to a guy that shows the ability he can play for 80 minutes and do that consistently. But while also, showing he could play a 60-minute stint in this game and still come up with even, a lot of great moments. That last try was incredible. But the other moments he had in that game as well, the try-saving tackle that he had on his line where there was a 2-on-1 advantage, he made the right read, stuff like that, bro. This kid, man, I don't know the limit of him. Like, I think the limit is so high that we have got something really special here that a lot of teams will be chasing. I'm just so happy that we have him on our side, right?
Bro, it's going back to that point, and it's hard to capture everything in a short video, but one point I missed was that when he went down to grab it, he had to keep that positioning. If he had moved his feet any further back to pick up the ball, that was going to be 2 steps too slow, I reckon, and Best would have maybe got him around him. He knew that he had to extend off that base and then relaunch without moving his feet. It was, honestly, when you break it down and look at it on a piece by piece level, the stuff that he did to get just that edge ahead of Bradman Best. And I don't think Bradman was. I think Bradman, once he saw him go, he's like, "Holy crap, I got to catch up here." And he saw Bradman just trailing behind. I don't think they were ready for that. I don't think they could kind of fathom the way this boy can play and get out of the blocks so quickly. Yeah, but that's what I was.
Well, think of his moments. Think of his moments this year, bro. That Broncos game where Jordan Ricky had his first taste of Leysima, where, off that left edge, caught a ball, and then off that right foot and just powered through past Jordan Ricky, who just got caught on the standing start. He just went, who is this? Like, the speed, the power. And then even just recently the first Tigers game, going down the sideline, they used the footwork and everyone was like, okay, like, this kid's got some wheels to him. We saw it with the Dogs game, his first game ever in rugby league. But then even those little things over the last weekend against the Tigers, the weekend prior, the Mr. Miyagi, the wax on, wax off sort of thing. Bro,
Miyagi,
like, this kid's
I forgot about Miyagi already.
He's got it in his bag, bro. He's legit got a toolbox, man. He's crazy.
It's because, Webby all of last year, when he was saying what was the difference between 23 and 24, and he's saying, all the close games, we just couldn't wrap them up, And now we've got this kid who's come in clutch, and even in games that we've won by 12 or 14, he's been involved in a try or some type of to seal the game, to make sure it's dead and buried, or he's done something. And you could probably argue that he's become the point of difference from what 24 was, where you couldn't close a game out, to now 25, where he finds himself in these positions where he says, "Give me the ball, man." And I saw a comment in there saying, I was hoping that he passed, but once you realize the cover defense, he had to do. Like, I think he was just on a solo mission, and I love that, because other guys would probably fear or look for options once they see the end of the tunnel shutting, and you got your Gagai there. Bradman Best is behind you. You got Marju coming in. Whoever else. Like, most guys will be like, that's the end of my trip. I need to do a chip over the top. I need to fling it somewhere. He's like, no, there's still light at the end of my tunnel. I'm going to keep going through,
Yeah.
And he was absolutely crazy.
I think the one thing, bro, too, overall is, like, if there's one question as a, sort of doing content, I always get asked with the Warriors, and they said, we need X factor. You know what I mean? There's been that question over us for a long period of time. Like, there's not much more X factor you can get, like an edge back row position, that what Lecker is bringing to the competition right now. Sure, we can use a little bit more in some areas, and we'll touch on those sort of things without how this game kind of played out in a sense. But man, as I kind of said to start it, like, I'm just so proud that we found someone like this. We've actually locked him into our system, and he's actually grown. He's developed it over time. Like, he's always had something special about him, but he's got the willingness to grow in that, and he looks like he's locked in for a long-term sort of look there with the Warriors. And just the bunch that we got right now, the young juniors, and the more that are coming through, the future is very, very bright, as we continue to say.
Yeah, man. And just I know I haven't watched as much today, random, but you know how your TikTok like gets overflowed with certain thing, and then the next day I got bloody West Indies cricket today. I don't know how I got West Indies cricket. I've been flooded with Brian Lara and bloody. I still want my liquor, but the algorithm said, "Nah, we're going to push you on somewhere else today." Random as I don't know how I got there. Yeah, the day before when just mate, the content you can see all the the reactions from it and from everyone in their lounges. It's just one of those great moments to like know where you were as a Warriors fan and what you were doing.
Yeah.
And then there's a slow mo, and I was talking with Hosea last night about it was like the Max Zimmer music, like the real intense drama, and you got slow mo liquor just finding his way through and step back. Oh man, it's like some of the best content I've seen.
Legit.
There's some of the really really good stuff. Let's check now, bro, to the game. Like it was a pretty crazy game.
Yeah.
What did you make of the Knights and there? I suppose I felt for them, and I've got a soft spot
100%.
initially for the Knights anyway. I respect them on the level of a regional town team. They love their footy. All the Knights people I've run into, at least with content wise, have been really good people to us. They love us. They're respectful of us. I have felt sorry for them, but at the same time, I look back on it and think, man, they bombed a lot of opportunities as well. But what did you make of the game overall type thing?
Yeah, first of all, shout out to the Knights. They really brought it to us, bro. I thought they played probably some of the best brand of footy they've played in a little while. Like defensively, they've always been pretty stout this season. They're a team that's really hard to figure out to what's really going on there. Like, I continue to look at the head coach and I'm like, I don't know how I feel about him. But, every time he seems to get a little bit of pressure on him, the team kind of tunes in with him and plays to their hardest. So it's like, well, is he maybe really the problem? I kind of question myself with that sort of thought. Like, I don't like how he changes, these halves pairings and all that little tinkering they does with the side. But, whenever he gets pressured, whenever the media kind of go, well, his job's under threat and stuff like that, the Knights always seem to go on a run or they play some of their better footy. Yeah. So there's got to be some sort of love there at least. So big shout out to the Knights. I thought, we had a strong chunk of possession and momentum early on in that game. I think if a couple of kicks went our way with Dallin going up in the air, maybe coming down with a couple of kicks, the Wade Egan try probably went our way. Maybe this contest could have felt a little bit different. Maybe we could have shut down like a little bit of the momentum or the confidence that the Knights did carry into that game. It looked like they were fired up when you saw the cameras in the sheds before the game. But, it just didn't go that way. And big momentum swings, to the Knights' favour. And they really took it to us, bro. They went, 3 tries, bang, 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 right? Where basically just caught us napping, right? Like, again, we could all argue about the Dane Gagai one. I thought that was like, in a moment like that, I was like, bro, come on. Like especially when Wade Egan's one got taken off us. But on our end, bro, definitely wasn't our greatest game of footy. The one thing, there's still little positives you can take out of a lot of these performances because we did stick in for the whole performance, right? Even when we did go down with the field goal, it did feel like we were coming home and we were trying to find a way to do something. We had all the field position. We had probably 3 of the best opportunities to win the game at the end there. And unfortunately, we had to go with the last one with Leysima doing a magical moment, right? But there's still some positives to say there. Is like, the Knights came and played some of their best footy they played in a little while, even though they're under strength on squad. They look like they had a bee in their bonnet, and we struggled to win over there in McDonald Jones Stadium. This is the first time we did since 2019. So the boys got over that little bit of a hump. No matter where you get it done, you get it done. And that was a big result for us for sure.
Yeah, the one I thought they absolutely hammered us in the first half, and just talk to me about Tane. He did some of them. I said in my video, I said he's done some of the craziest cat and mouse, like how you
defensive things.
Defensively, he gives best time, and then as soon as best passes, he just turns and chases down McEwen, and then he does it again to Cogger. Yep. I'm like, this kid is just ridiculous because most of the times you either go for the intercept or you bait something, but then you can't quite get to make the tackle. But I couldn't believe it when I was watching what he did there. What did you make of some of his efforts, bro? I thought there was, if it wasn't Liquor winning the game, I thought Tane had a big part to save 2 or 3 tries, bro. Like, seriously.
Yeah, I was interested to hear in commentary where they were starting to question a little bit of his game and say that he wasn't really on in that game. Like I think obviously attacking wise, he didn't have the Tane to a picky game of last week against the Tigers. But as you said, defensively, I thought that he really kept us in this contest here. There was no question about it. Our right edge did struggle defensively with Braden and Best. I thought Kurt Capewell probably had his poorest game this season.
Yeah, sure.
I thought that he was a little bit slow off the pace. Obviously a lot of people will question Dallin. We'll probably get into that sometime soon as well. But I did think that Kurt Capewell did have a poor one defensively inside of him. So with all those line breaks of the night started to find their way through, I thought Tane probably, he really stayed composed in those moments, allowed for our scramble defense to also come in while he was making those decisions as well. That one with Brad and Best where they got the early pass, it bounced off a couple of things, and I think the ball bounced back, and Tane and Boyd ended up tackling Brad and Best. It allowed our defense to kind of scramble back. So massive fan of Tane. We know what Tane can bring to the side. We all know. And I know that the team list has been read out, and we'll get to the team list a little bit later on, but there's still an opportunity that they might change things late minute. Like we never know with Webby. After what we saw over the weekend, and he pulled Kurt Capewell late in that game, whether it was an injury or anything like that, to put Adam Pompey and Tamani Martin on the centres. Maybe that's a little bit of a nod to the hat that maybe we could see a late change coming to this game. Maybe Tane at fullback and Chance in that centre position. Who knows? But I thought great game out there for him defensively. He was very, very strong.
Yeah, I actually thought he was, just even he could have had the cutout pass to, I think RTS it was, and Dallin, and that could have been another try assist for him. So he had involvements that were really, really important. And yeah, I agree with you. Like he's listed as 18th man, so who knows what actually happens? He might get that call up. Maybe they're just putting CNK in there, it's fitness test, and then he might bounce back out. But yeah, I actually thought the Knights, I was surprised. I was thinking, the Knights are going to carry on here in the second half, but we kind of won back the position and the field position battle in that second half. Which was great because I thought they were their line speed was insane, and then all of their defensive movements. They are a very good defensive team, and they've got a good unit of forwards that can defend well. They just, I couldn't believe, if I'm their fans, I'm like, I couldn't believe what was happening, in terms of they bombed. How about the liquor one, and Fletcher Hunt went for a solo mission? I was like, oh, mate, they bombed 3 to 4 great scoring opportunities. I couldn't believe what I'd seen. But what do you think it was? We kind of got back in the game. Dimitri scored again, which was great for him. He's been playing insane, bro? I can't so impressed with him. But then, just talk to me, man, a little bit about Tane and Boyd. And I know people love to go in on the halves if they have a bad game or they don't quite deliver. Tane and Boyd, for me, he put in a def kick for Pompey the first try. He had 2 on a platter for Dallin. If Dallin catches those in some really pinpoint crossfield bombs, I thought, bro, these are on a platter for you, man. You need to really nail these. And then, yes, the last kind of 3 actions, 4 technically, with the kick out on the full, the 3 drop goal attempts, and the penalty. Do you think he just felt the pressure a little bit of the moment? And again, how do you separate that from a window of 5 minutes to his overall game?
Yeah, overall, I've seen some of the commentary out there, and being a halfback in the NRL, this is what's so tough about it, right? You can play a solid game in general for a good 60 minutes odd in that game. I didn't think he was at fault. I thought defensively there were some moments there where maybe he could have been better, checking off his lead, stuff like that, just little things. But overall, I thought his kicking game was really solid. He was a good reason why we end up, in that second half. I thought we had a really good second half in that one. I thought, obviously, Dimitri went over for his try, got us back into a tied contest there. And I thought that our field possession battle was really winning in our area due to the kicking game of Tanner, our system really working in that sort of sense. When it got to crunch time, it does look like that maybe he, not to say cracked under pressure, but this was the first sort of moment where he kind of was didn't really find his feet in that moment. And like, those things can really come like really quick and hard, especially for, someone that's just jumped back into first grade. When he was playing New South Wales Cup, we didn't really get ourselves into those sort of positions too many times with Tane Boyd there at halfback. So this is things that he can definitely learn on and pick up from in the future. I think the one I was a little bit more, or two actually, I was a little bit more of like, Tane, you got to nail those moments. Is number one, 7 minutes to go, we set up for the field goal, very similar to what we did with Luke Metcalf. I thought there was no pressure on that field goal. He had to hit that. Like, that was a had to hit. And then the other one was obviously the penalty goal. I thought that, yeah, for sure, penalty. That's the reason why you keep your captain's challenge. I thought it was the best thing that we did there. Jackson Hastings wasn't square and a marker. Always happens when it comes to those field goals moments. And when I saw Tane lining up for the kick, I honestly had my messages ready to message my group chat with some of my boys and be like, I feel for the Knights here, but Tane's going to put him to bed here. And then he missed it. So I was like, oh, bro, he doesn't usually miss those. So overall, I'm not down on his performance in general. Of course, I would love for him to step up in those moments. And like, this kind of really shows that, when we look at these big key moments, like, this is what we had missed a little bit with Luke Metcalf, is this mentality that Luke kind of probably carries a little bit more of, like, he wants that moment. He does rise in those occasions at the moment. Yep. But not to say Tane can't do that in the future either. Like, I'm sure he'll take his learning and his lessons from this, get back to playing the system, and he'll have another opportunity to right the wrongs of whatever's happened in this game. And obviously, Lecker did a great job of doing that late in that game too. Yeah.
Look, he's got time to get it right. I thought the first one was perfect timing. I think he just didn't get his rotation of his body around enough. If you saw the back angle, he was already facing out to the right, and the ball went pretty much. It's like, I imagine it's actually done a bit of goal kicking, I imagine, in your time.
Tiny bit. Like similar to goalkeeper.
Well, at least you try. In theory, is it supposed to, kind of like you want to get like a free throw or basketball shooter, how they want to get their thing in line with the shot and they want to follow through? Is it kind of that similar process where, because I noticed his kick, he didn't swing around enough to get it square on, and kind of his kick faded to the right as it would. What do you think of that? Yeah,
there's a bit of that too. And who messaged me? Someone messaged me. Oh, I'm so sorry. I forgot who messaged me, but someone messaged me and noticed that his kicks were pulling a little bit left over the night, whether it was a compensation thing or whatever, because Tanner's usually pretty direct with his kicking motion.
Yeah.
But he was pulling left all night. When it came to that penalty goal, he ended up pulling left in that moment as well. Maybe that was more of just a overcompensation of certain sort of things. I'm not sure if it was too windy out there. Didn't really notice anything too like that on the coverage, but in those moments, I'm sure he'll learn from him. I'm sure there's a lot of video on it now, and I'm sure that he's a type of guy that, as Webby said, he's one of the best trainers at the club at the moment. So I'm sure he's doing extras to try and recover from that moment.
Yeah, I even if we did lose the game, I had no issue with it. He put his hand up 3 times for it. I think the second one I cracked up on stream just because it was like this big moment, and then it just died. It was like it was like a grubber. But then he came back and he gave it another crack, and I actually think the third one was actually going to go over, but Hastings, fair enough, charged it down. But yeah, you just want, I think, for guys that do field goals, you just want them to get one over just to build confidence. Like the fact that Metcalf got one over this year, you're just like, yeah, he's sweet now. It's like one of those rites of passage. Once you do it, then you can kind of do it again, because you know the rhythm, the movement, and it's such one of those scary. It must be like again, like using a basketball analogy, but where a guy like a 3-point shooter, they have to know when that, because they usually when they kick it out to the 3-point shooter, the guy's chasing him, like he's trying to get that block. So you got to get used to that rhythm of like people trying to chase you down, and you got to get the height on it too. That's always the difficulty, is that when someone's coming straight on, you got to push the kick up higher as well, which can be quite difficult as well.
Well, that's another thing on that too, bro. It's like, it's not like he hasn't shown in his career that you can do that. He hit a deaf field goal to beat us in years past as well. So we know that Tane Boyd has the ability to do so, and he'll learn from these experiences. And as you said, this is what makes rugby league tough. These are the top of the top in the competition. Like, you got absolute athletic phenoms sprinting you down, trying to charge down your kick. You just in those moments, there's a lot of pressure. And that's what gets you paid the big bucks at the end of the day as well. So he will learn from that, and he will be better from that. I'm so sure of it.
Yep.
But for a majority of his game, I thought Tane had another really good game. He was very composed, stuck to his system. I think that, there's a lot to, again, we go back to, there's a lot of positives in this game that probably some things didn't go our way in some areas. But, I thought the Knights, had a really good crack, and I do feel for him in this contest because I think that, they had all the ability to win this game overall. It just came to just a really big magical moment from Leysima to push it our way. And we've died to those ones a lot of times, right? So I'm very happy to get it back our way and get another win in our win column.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's good. It's good to build confidence either way, no matter which way you get it. To get the dub, it lifts the spirits and it allows you to move forward to the next task. So, next topic, man, is as a guy that I've been getting lit up every video I post, people are messaging me. But Dallin, DWZ, in or out, it's such a massive talking point.
Yeah,
and I know we've been advocates of the system. That he's playing to the system. He's got kind of new centers every week. And capable, to be fair, he didn't have his best game, didn't do him any favors either with the Bradman Best, who with every opportunity had a bit of space would just burn through. But you add on top of that the errors that are, I kind of suppose, this year and years gone by, he has had a lot of drop ball, a lot of mistakes, and I think people are feeling that it's time to move in a new direction. But what do you make of Dallin's performance on Sunday? And is it piling up? Is it a true reflection of him that everything falls at his feet, or is this something that can be ironed out and improved? And actually, we're just all looking in the wrong place when we look at how people are scoring tries. We need to what is the answer in your opinion?
Yeah, I think overall, thinking of the season of Dallin Watene-Zelezniak, it's been an in and out season, right? Like he's had a couple of injuries here that have held him back out of that jersey. To start the season with the broken wrist to start off, and when he found himself back in there, we had Tane absolutely kill it in that position and do a really great job. So I felt like Warriors fans were looking at that going, looking at a certain type of way. So when Dall didn't produce and what they had envisioned in their heads, I felt like he kind of got like red flags straight away. And I felt like he kind of didn't have his confidence to start with. I felt like, to be honest, coming off of his best game for us this year last week, I thought he had an incredible game, a great game against the Tigers. This week, when we look at his numbers, his running numbers are still there, which is 136 in this game, which was good. I think it was just the errors. There were some key errors out of him in this one that I was more so worried about. The one that always gets bring up with Dallin Watene-Zelezniak is his defense. And again, I'm a big, strong proponent as he is not the problem with our defense on that side. He's making defensive breakdown decisions. And when everything gets broken down from the inside, you made a great video, where we had numbers on that edge and Tane got beat on the outside. Due to our system, the way our system plays out, as soon as you get beat on the outside, you always defend from your inside shoulder from, that center is going to dart in, Dallin's going to dart in, cut down space and cause a tougher pass to end up happening. So, I hate continuing to see online, Dallin, stay on your wing. That is not how wingers play anymore. That's not how they've played for the last 10 to 15 years. So, but I'm not going to go away from the fact there is some other moments where Dall does get him wrong at times, and that he's got some key errors in him at the moment that he does need to clean up. The last thing I would say too, just on his defense in general, when people are worried about our right side defensive action and stuff like that, right side defensive, defensive teams in general in competition struggle with their right side defense due to being the overloaded side that attackers go to more times than not. You actually think about humans in general, there's more right-handed people in the world than left-handed people. So preferably, people like to pass right to left than they do passing left to right. So better attacking sides usually tack down the right defensive edge. So that's the reason why he gets pointed out a lot more. That's why he ends up getting through more tackles than what Roger gets through these days. And that's why we're seeing a lot more defensive actions down that edge than the other edge too. Plus, in our side at the moment, we've got a massive spot in halfback being Tane Boyd. It is in years past. I made a video on who I wanted to be the halfback to start the season. I did also point out the amount of tackles that Tane Boyd had to do in the Gold Coast Titans. He was the spot in Gold Coast Titans. Not to say he was a bad defender. It's just because he was a smaller defender in the line, he becomes the spot. So no matter what, teams are going to line up from their opposite post to line up on Tane Boyd, which causes our right side to get attacked more times than not. So that's the reason why we concede more times on our right than anything. That's why no matter what, like at the moment, our left side's doing such a great job. It's because they barely get attacked down in each and every game. Usually every part of their attack, and like, you know, the Dragons attack their best down the left side. You know, teams like the Dogs and the Panthers usually attack better than their right side. The Warriors used to be good at attacking that right side. That was our little differential. But majority of the teams in the competition attack their best down that left edge, which is the right edge, defensive edge. So I want people to understand that as well. It's not like we concede all these tries, like we conceded 15 points in this game. Could have been more, 100%. But 15 points in this game. So I don't think at the moment it's too big of a, let's just go, you know, chuck out Dallin, Watene-Zelezniak, you know, everything like that. I think we're doing very well in these sort of areas. And I don't blame Dallin wholly and solely on this wing, in my opinion anyway.
Do you think that a lot of it has to do with his output as well? I mean, this is a guy that came off, was it 24, 27 tries in 23? And his numbers have obviously dropped based on, I suppose, an attacking system that probably doesn't see him get those opportunities. And again, I mean, Rogers just agree with you. With Pompey on that side, they're getting hardly targeted. And they've got a good system there with CHT, Pompey, and Roger. Now they've, you know, I saw a lot of their movements. I'm like, these guys know what they're doing. You know, they know how they're dealing with their situations all the time. I mean, he's had, you know, missed centers, Berry in and out. Do you think that maybe moving Pompey over there is a solution, a short-term solution? Or is it just, no, keep Pompey on their left side, keep that left side solid while, you know, while Dal and Catewell figure this out? And I agree with you on the Tane Boyd thing. You can see that the emphasis, and it doesn't mean Tanner's a bad defender. It just means the emphasis. They're saying, we think you're the chink in the armor, and if we can get at you, that everything else will work for us. That's what they're thinking, and that's their intention. But yeah, what did you think about maybe Pompey coming over to help out a little bit? Would that change things?
Yeah, maybe a little bit. I think like the biggest, it shows the symptom of what we've been dealing with all season is we've probably had, this is probably the area we've had the most changes, I guess, in our lineup for this whole year. Like we started off the year with Ali Leotoa on that side. Then we had to switch out with Rocco Berry coming in. And then we've had to switch out with Kurt Capewell coming in. And then we've switched back to Rocco Berry and then Capewell. And now Rocco Berry, then back to Capewell again. Adam Pompey mid-game is changing those edges each and every time now. You know, it's happened, you know, a couple of weeks now where, you know, the Broncos game, it had to happen as well. So, yeah, I guess. I would just love to see an out-and-out centre go out there and lock down a combination there. But unfortunately, at the moment, we're struggling to have a centre that's going to stay healthy and ready to go on that edge. And I think that feeds into a lot of the cohesion problems. Like, as you just touched on, like, you know, number one, player for player, I would rather run at Tane Boyd than at Chanel Harris-Tavita. So that's probably why I would rather attack that edge, right? But if you're looking at combination-wise, you know, Chanel, Bompy, and Roger, you know, Roger's probably been in and out a lot more out of those edges. But Chanel and Bompy have been probably our most consistent players all season, right? If you got to say it, especially in our back line.
Absolutely.
So that combination's been built over all this time so far. We're 21 rounds in. They've had pretty much majority of those 20 rounds together. You know, if you look on the other side, you know, check how many different combinations we have on that side. You know, even on our halfback jersey, you know, Luke Metcalf, you know, Tane Boyd, mid-game, Tamani Martin stepped in there, you know, in that centre position, as I touched on before. So I think it's just, it's one of those symptoms that can only get solved if we can get someone in there that's going to stay healthy. I think it's been a struggle for us at the moment.
I think even you look at when Leka, I think, has been on the left side, they're just a better moving unit. I think with Maratas, Marata for me is always his footwork off the mark. When he checks his inside, then he bumps out. He's always a few steps behind, and then you get that chain of effect where Tanner's actually, if you look at Tanner, he's holding a lot in the line, like a lot, and then that's pushing Catewell to just tuck in a bit, and then And obviously Dell's, which I do agree. I think Dell's has been making some poor decisions. When you're on those 3-on-2, you know, or whatever, you do have to go for it. You have to like kind of assert yourself sometimes. If you bomb it out, I mean, he was one of the most active interceptors, I suppose, in 23. If I remember, like he would go for it, and he'd nail most of it. You know, he got a few tries off of it. Whether that's a confidence thing or if, the insides not knowing quite what's happening, I think for most people, and for me, it's not the defensive stuff. It's more the drop balls. It's more those little things that add up, and it ties into, you can label it where you want it. If it's defense, you know, you're always going to have that you don't like Dallin. It's the same impact for other wingers like Kossi. Like people just start to lose trust in him, and it doesn't matter if they do well. It's like, nah, I don't want him anymore. You know what I mean? That's kind of that. You start to build a profile of that player, but I've said, like, what is the actual next steps? Like, what, I mean, you go CO Kali, do you go, you know, I a little bit critical of the club, but you got RTS probably going to rugby.
Yep.
Like, what's the plans to replace our kind of aging, experienced wingers? You know, I personally can't quite see what they're planning yet. Who knows? They might go to market, but what do you think is that kind of transition phase look like?
Yeah, it's kind of something we've been touching on a couple of times this year, but you know, Dallin's our best option at the moment on that side, especially. When we step down, we got Sio Gali, who has he's incredible. He's an incredible talent, and this is what I mean. He's an incredible talent, but he struggles to stay on the football field at the moment because he's always had injury problems behind him. This is the first time in a little while he's got through back-to-back games. He's had great performances in games, and I'm sure maybe with a full year under his belt, or towards this end of this year, that he'll maybe be pushing for that winger spot towards the end of to the start of next year. Maybe, who knows? That'll be an argument to really come next season. But in this season in general, CO is still very raw in some areas as well. When you're looking at other options, Basikala only just came back in Jersey Flag, and Basikala's had some hot and cold moments as well. Setutu's come back to the club, but within systematically, like, how long is that going to take for him to get in there? So, like, the other one's Ed Gossi, and again, as you touched on before, he has a red flag on him. Like, we had the same red flag over Marcelo Montoya.
Couldn't finish. Didn't have much finishing in him. Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like, in general, I think that Dallin's doing a good enough job at the moment. I think a lot of problems seem to be being put on his shoulders for some reason for me. And as you touched on, is probably the little key areas that he has, but everyone always seems to point out defensively. That's where they really key in on. That's where I kind of go, is like, I don't know really the area. This is an area that we do struggle in depth in at the moment. Yeah. I would probably look at the market if you were going to go that way, and look at, like, as I continue to say, like, look and try to find a Dean Mariner or something like that to be like, hey, are you unhappy with the Broncos? Like, come our way. Like, see if you do what you can here. Yeah. That's the only way I can see us replacing Dal, unless Yeo probably has a good, consistent year under his belt without any injuries, troubles.
Well, I think it's that the wing position, with fullback, we've been lucky we've had Tane, who's outperformed based on his profile. Would you say he wasn't earmarked to be a NRL first grader, or but wing has actually been a position that we've actually haven't really addressed fully. We've actually tried to solve it with RTS, which has been fantastic. Like, I think Ash, you called it as well, that he's going to have a breakout year, and he has. But for majority, we had Montoya and Dallin, and no one has yet to kind of say, like a Leka Leysima, I'm taking your spot, or within development at least. So I think it's something that needs to be looked at. I don't know. For me personally, soon. I just think for me, it's like one of those things. It could become, and it may become just one of those things where it's time to move on. And even if the player isn't at fault, and we understand it's a system thing, it just feels as though with Dallin, it's kind of waning on him. Even my wife, not to put her out there, but she said even the hairdo, the mullet's getting a bit old. Like it needs a bit of a freshen up. Actually thinking about it, I was like, actually, babe, you might be right there. Like that was kind of like 2023. It's like, I think, bro, you need to, anyway. But
and that's the thing. I think that's kind of what helped with this whole thing, is like, I think people got a taste of Tane Tuapiki in that wing spot, and kind of like, obviously, first of all, just chucked out like that Tane's an out and out fullback. You know, he was never supposed to be put in that position, and we never really wanted to be putting him in that position in general. But they saw like he was able to do a job, and they saw the shiny new toy of like, oh, maybe this is the way we can keep Tane in that spot. And then when we have an experienced member come back into our side, it was very similar to when we had Sean Johnson towards the end of last year, right? And you know, with Tamati Martin had all this boom to him, and he was playing great footy. And then we're like, no, but we got this experienced member that has done it. He's done it in the past, and he's consistently done it. You know, just given the time and the ability to show that he can do it again. I think Dallin's in that same area. Like we've seen Dall even in last year have great moments. Remember started last year, he had that moment against the Raiders where he cut back inside the field like a fullback look, put a short ball into Luke Metcalf. Like he's had some big moments for us, but I think because he hasn't produced that in like, you know, this year in general, and again, a lot of it I do put down as he hasn't had consistent first grade football. Like, I think this is where all the questions start to come his way again. And I think that it's a mixture of people not understanding our defensive systems and how, like, defense sort of works in the NRL, and also kind of seeing those little key areas that he still kind of has in his game that he's never got out of. But then when you see, like, a lot of other wingers that people are chasing, Greg Marjus of the world, you know, a lot of these other big, like Adomi Young, Lofiana Khan Pereiras, they have these exact key areas in their game as well. But people want to negate that because they're the shiny new toy with a lot of speed and a lot of talent in that area, instead of thinking what Dall can produce, especially with experience and his finishing ability. But he hasn't had the ability to show that this year.
I think it's just one of those. Just last point, and then we'll move on. But it's just one of those things. Like he's not having the same output that he's had in previous years, you know. And I do think it's partly system based. Like SJ would throw a cutout to him, give him everything, you know, and the right side shape would send everything that way. And I just don't think, you know, just going back on Tane Boyd, I think he's like, you actually nailed it, Ash. He's a very systems type player. But who threw the cutout for that potential try that Dall could have scored? It was Tane Tuopiki.
Tane Tuopiki, yep.
He's the one that's going to throw the risk and play that role. So even if you don't have a Tane Tuopiki there, that makes it even tougher for him to get any good options. And like if you looked at the finish, if the pass wasn't forward, he put it down on a dime. And that's what we're used to. And like, again, one of those catch-22s with a player like Dall was like, he can put it on a dime in the corner like no other. So it's like, yeah, unless the club really address it, like you see, like a Dean Mariner, Isako, or someone, you know, that we know is a solid winger, even the development player like a Seal Kali will get. And it's unfortunate we've targeted our wingers ridiculously as fans, and we've tried to defend them because we know they're the last line of defense, but they always get, you know, every single one of our wingers when defense has gone wrong. Oh bloody hell, he's jamming in again. You know, he's stay on your bloody wing. It's like, well, bro, Prem Best is destroying Capewell today.
I think honestly. It's my most frustrating. It's something that frustrates me more than anything in this world, and especially when like it's the easiest thing to point out in rugby league defense is a winger and how wingers allowing tries in on their wing, which is where all coaches would rather tries to be scored anyway, not through the middle of us from the outside, as like we saw at the weekend. You know, Dane Gagai couldn't kick a ball for the life of him to convert some tries there, but like. Everyone should look more on the inside. Why did Dall get caught in a defensive breakdown where he had to make a decision to dart in off his wing? You know, if we were able to slide off our reads a little bit earlier, if teams weren't as good to, like, you know, square us up, you know, like, then we'd probably see a little bit more in that area of, like, you know, Dall's better defensive reads in that sort of sense. But the system predicates that as soon as there's a breakdown on the inside, we cut down time and space and we dart in from the inside, protect our inside shoulder. That is how our system plays. Tane did exactly the same thing. Ed Gossi did exactly the same thing. They all do it. But, you know, it's a frustrating topic for me. It always has been, always will be.
Swings and roundabouts, man. It never ends. It will never end. It will never end until we win a premiership. Yep. Even the Beast always had his, you know, he was never perfect with Beast, but we loved him. We loved him.
Oh, yeah, exactly, bro.
Just want to go give a big shout out to my man Lecky, my man. Looking forward to catching up with you this Saturday. Thank you for renewing. We appreciate you here at Wise Up TV, and my man Josh Hill as well. He's pumped, Mr. MC. Don't worry about the ticket, man. We got your ticket. You automatic entry. And Dan, thank you very much, man. Just want a big shout out to our man, still chilling. While's good, while
Oh,
no. Have a beer or coffee on me this weekend, bro. Levi and the brother Ash. Appreciate the top tier content and the community you guys have built. And I hope you guys have a good meetup this weekend. Still chilling. Thank you very much, man.
thank you,
We
brother.
appreciate that. And we'll make sure to show you the purchase of that coffee or beer. Say thank you. Thank you very much.
We shall, brother.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, let's move on, guys. They're gonna go hit this. Is anything else from the game that you wanted to talk about, Ash? Actually, is there anything that stands out?
We kind of just kind of brushed over it just a tad, but Dimitri Guamonga, again, like as you said, had a great game again. I think that he's having a really underrated season at the moment, like because Lek is having this big boom year and he's having the big moments, but Dimitri's been right thereabouts, and I think that he's been amazing this season, so big shout out to him. Aaron Clark continuing to do what he's doing. Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, like the work that he's getting through at the moment. So there's a lot of good areas there too. Like it wasn't our greatest game in the world. We had to do, I thought our scramble was really, really good in that game. But what I did love is when it came to crunch time in that second half, we stuck to our system, we trusted in our system, and it ended up paying dividends. It really did. Like we had more of the opportunities to win the game at the end of that game due to winning field position. I thought that at the end of it, I feel sorry for the Knights, but we got the chockies due to our system at the end there, and a little bit of like a magic.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Okay, let's hit this team list, man, because it's we've come off a massive high, and then there are some changes there. And I know a lot of people in the Tane, the little Tane, and the TT club will be a bit shocked. What is an example? When you come off a super high, and then the person that's been away from school comes back, and you're like, oh no. Their classroom behavior is going to go back out. It's like painting Chance as like a, oh
Yeah.
no, not this guy's back. Oh, we were having such a good time without you, kind of thing. But I kind of got that vibe with Chance. But Chance is back. Catewell is back in the centres. I imagine he'll stay out there with Dallin. Then we've got an unchanged from there on, I think. Stowell Smith, just quickly on Stowell Smith, how have you been finding him? He's kind of solid now, isn't he, in his role?
I thought that he had a really good game against the Tigers over the weekend prior. I thought he really had a dig in a key moment there. Even in this game with the Knights, like I think he's getting good impact. I think his best part of his game is his defense. I love the way he hunts from the inside. He's really solid defensively in the ruck, but very happy with his development so far.
Yep. Let's go now. Let's talk Tane. Tane had to make way, I think, for, was it Dallin? I can't remember if he did or not. Tane's had to make way for CNK a few times. And each time Tane plays, it always leaves us with an excitement and a potential that every fan, I think, can respect.
Yep.
But CNK is the top dog of that position. Tane has to play that role where he goes back to Cup, although he's listed as 18th, so we don't know yet. But do you think it's the right call? It's a pivotal moment of the season where every game matters to maintain a top 4 position.
Yeah.
Do we lose anything with CNK back? And what does CNK look like maybe with a Tane and Boyd, and maybe look different as well? What does that entail? What's your thoughts on that, going back to CNK?
Yeah, it could be a little bit of that, eh? Like, when we think of this discussion, like Tane Tuilagi has been incredible for us for this period without CNK. And when CNK did go down, he was having a really good hot patch there. He was playing really great footy. Everyone was like, that's why we got Chance starting at fullback. This is why he is the starting fullback. Then unfortunately with the injury and Tane stepping up and showing that he's a quality fullback as well, people are going, oh, wait, no, there's a way we can try and fit these guys in, it's kind of a discussion here. But I think Webby's obviously looking at, number one, Chance is our number one fullback at the moment. There is reasons why. There's the key areas within how we move up the field that CNK does very, very well. I think that with Tanner playing halfback, we haven't seen what he looks at the back of shape with Tanner Boyd just yet. Maybe there's a little bit, like, who knows? Like, I think Tane Tuilagi playmaking wise is a bit better than CNK out the back of that shape on the right hand side. but there might be this thing with with Tanner that maybe he has a connection with Chance that maybe unlocks Chance with a little bit more of that playmaking that allows, you know, Dallin to have more freedom on that wing as well. So honestly, I look at it this way. I'm conflicted because I've really enjoyed what Tane did as well. And this is coming from a guy I had Chance number one. I was like, Chance is our number one fullback. But I'm looking at the positions now where, like, I know I was a big proponent to, I don't like Chance at center. I don't want Chance at center. But when we're running Kurt Capewell there at the moment, I probably would prefer to put Kurt Capewell into like a second row and run Chance at center, then put Tane Chilpiki at fullback. I would love to see that. I don't know if Webby will make a late change on that. But if he goes with Chance Nickel-Clockstack, I don't think it's a downgrade at all. I think Chance brings just a different sort of game that helps us in a whole different area. So I don't think Warriors fans should be going crazy over this move in general. I do understand a little bit of the disappointment of what, you know, Tane has been bringing at the moment, though.
Yeah, it's just different styles, different energy. He's much more, I suppose, involved attack wise, but look, we're doing so well now. I mean, we're not doing so well, but like it's like coming off 2 wins now. CNK comes into a confident team and he builds off of that, and maybe we get back to really solid game. He gets those carries again. Do you think he's over carrying sometimes? Over doing too much in terms of carries?
Little bits and pieces. There is games where he does run himself ragged. But, you know, when he runs to that like 250 mark, what I love about Chance is he's got a really good recognition of when he needs to tune in as well. So when like we are on the back foot a little bit and we need that like third tackle momentum hit up, he'll take that hit up and he'll start us running. Or if we need that fifth and last hit up that's going to get a quick play to ball before the kick, he'll do that hit up as well. I think those are the key areas we do miss with Chance in some areas. He's very direct and he gets about his work in a solid way, in that sort of sense. Where Tane's a little bit more like a snaky type of character, right? He's in and out. He'll find little like slithers in the defense. So those are the difference there. So there is a little bit of food for thought. Sometimes he runs himself ragged and defensively he has to get himself on his bike a lot of times too, and it probably holds him back in that area. Where we saw Tane on the weekend, he's got the ability to bounce off one read and jump off another. Chance probably does do a lot more work in one area that takes away from another. But in that other area as well, it transfers into our system very well. You know what I mean? With field position.
Yep. I mean, we might see more of a grinded out style where we just dominate. And because of those yardages that Chance is getting, it might just tilt the field position, battle our way. You know, like I can just see this with Tane and Boyd's kicking game. Chance can just like hover around the 20-30 meter line and carry right up to the halfway. Yeah, like in a perfect world.
Agreed.
We were dominating, like it could be that quite impactful. Capewell, I suppose he's holding that position. Would you prefer Capewell in the back row, or is this he's just got to fill the gap because we really got nothing to fill that? And I think he'll pick up, but he did look a bit banged up. How injured is he, do you think?
Yeah, well, I'm trying to think. Is this the first game we've seen him back off the Origin series there?
That was the first one off the Origin. Yep.
So he might be a little bit banged up from Origin, so maybe another week under his belt, we'll probably see a little bit better at Coco. But I did think that he did look a little bit banged up. I thought he started really well, but come to mid to late into that game, it did look like his legs kind of fell off a little bit. So for me, like, you know, again, Kurt Capewell can do a job there. We've seen Kurt Capewell do a job there. It's not like I'm worried having Kurt Capewell in that center.
No.
I thought Braden Best was just really good. Like Braden Best is one of the best centers in the game. We all got to understand that he can do that to any center in the league. But we got Ali Leotoa there in the reserves. Like I'm looking at, like, if we don't go Chance into centers, if that's one ability, you know, if we want Tane there, maybe we don't have Tane in there. Maybe Ali Leotoa comes into that center position for Kurt Capewell and push Kurt to an edge. Maybe we could run that way as well. I'll be happy to see that. But if we run as named out here too, I still think that lineup's good enough to get wins in first grade. Whether that's our best lineup, I think we're still kind of figuring out what our best lineup is at the moment with the injuries in these areas that we've got at the moment.
Yeah, I think Capewell, despite, I just thought laterally as this movement was just, I'm just hoping he's recovered or whatever the deal is. But I think I agree. For me, it's better still than MGT, and I love what MGT does, but he's just a yard or too short for this level. And then Ali, I just think, he's just finding his feet again. And look, hopefully we get a bit more stability out that side, and that's all we can ask for. What have you made so far of the CHT Tane and Boyd combo? Does it seem to be flowing and working well, in your opinion?
Yeah, there's moments where it's coming together quite nicely. Again, I think it will take time before we're going to see a continuous flow with their game plan and that. Like, I thought they had connected really great in that Tigers game. This game was like maybe just a touch behind. But there was a couple of areas, like, he had Chanel on out the back of that shape there where Chanel ended up getting pushed out into touch from memory. There was some good moments there that they had with ball in hand. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with what they're producing at the moment. So I still think we stick with what we got there.
Yeah, cool. Marata is looking much more comfortable, isn't he, on the in the back row kind of role? Do you think that we're not going to go back to that middle option for Marata, and Ford's probably doing a decent job, isn't he? Ford, he's pretty much most weeks being impactful. What would you say about, does that kind of settle the dust on Marata coming back into the middle, in your opinion?
Yeah, a little bit. I think that like Tanner, Vaimunga, and Jackson Ford have been doing a really good job with that middle rotation there to really hold in that spot. I think the only other way that we could see maybe Marata move into the middle is if we do move Kurt Capewell back into the to edge back row. I think the only other position I could have Watene-Zelezniak is back into like a middle rotation role, or maybe have a little bit of limited minutes in the edge, and Lecker and Laban sort of like having a nice rotation on the on an edge role there too. So yeah, I think at the moment, if we're running out like this, like Watene-Zelezniak on the edge is probably gonna be him, you know what I mean? But if we move Kurt Capewell into the edge back row, I do think that Watene-Zelezniak will probably get more minutes back in the middle again. So I don't think it's dead and gone. I really don't.
Okay. Yep. Fair enough. The bench, Tamari still playing that kind of put you 15 minutes here, then you go. I think he even played a bit of left side centre.
He did.
Did he finish the game out there?
Yeah.
So he's kind of bouncing around everywhere. We need one of those bingo cards where, when you go walk around and say, find someone he lives in Australia, find someone that's has played a sport, and you get doing your meet and greets.
Yeah,
you're getting to know people. You do your bingo. You have to do a bingo card for every position he's played this year. I'm trying to think. Okay, he hasn't played wing. He's played a bit of hook. He's maybe just front row and back row. Maybe he's got a few more to hit. But
I think that's the only
decent
two, bro.
job, Yeah, he's doing a decent job, isn't he?
It's the reason why he's that 14 jersey, mate. Like we've had this discussion early on the season where with Sam Healy and Tamani Martin. Like if we were full strength and we didn't have a issue with our centers going down mid game or issues in that area, I think we do end up probably leaning to a Sam Healy to have a nice rotation with Wade Egan. But because Tamani Martin is just this Mr. Fix-It that can pretty much play anywhere really. Like every position I've seen him play in, he's had some good areas, like good impact. Yep. I can't have him out of that 14 jersey until we're full strength in the moment. And that's going to even be a discussion even when we are full strength.
Yeah. I think it's one of those ones, isn't it? Just to keep him there. He's helping out. He does 15 minutes at fullback. And it's a tough position because I always think of a guy in that type of role. When they come on, they're going to come on real cold and, drop a ball. They're going to screw everything up that was going well. And But for me, he's kind of held his own. Like he hasn't, if anything, when you're doing those kind of fill-in roles for 15, 20 minutes, you just want to have no errors. You don't want any negative thing because you've come on and you're still trying to adjust to the position and you stuff things up. So I've got to give him a lot of credit for that, just being professional in his work. Okay, I think we're pretty much covered most of the team. I think that's probably the best we can get, Ash? I think right now.
Yeah. Do you think that Ali Leotard might have an opportunity to get into that centre spot? Like, would you push it? Like, because Ali played 80 minutes over the weekend. He played fullback. Got through that. I had a thought that maybe him playing fullback was a little bit more of like getting him under his legs, like getting a little bit more runs under his legs, seeing how his fitness is. Like, do you think there's an opportunity there?
I definitely think so. I think we need to, and I know this is getting, what are we, round 21 now? We've got 7 more rounds, 7 more games, I think. Was that? Yeah, we've got 7 more.
Yep.
We need to build some type of combo with Dallin and whatever we're going to do there. And that's, look, I'm just trying to knock on wood for everything, but if Catewell's a little bit nicked up, how far away could he potentially be from being a little bit longer out? If Ali's purely healthy and ready to go, I would get him in there. Just because we need that centre. And I think Rocco's not due back till round 25, I think it was, or something, 23 or 22. I can't remember.
Got it up here. Round 24, okay. 25, yeah.
That's so late in the piece, especially being a top 4 team. We want to have something solid, rock solid, to go into the finals with, you know.
Agreed.
So I'm thinking if he can play, get him in there. Get him in there for sure. And get him acclimatized again. It's only if he's fully healthy, for me. Would you be the same vein, Ash?
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I know I kind of like went in roundabouts a little bit before the Kurt Capewell thing. Like if we ran out the way we have, I'm pretty happy. But my preferred would be Ali Lertor come into the centre jersey for Kurt Capewell. Kurt move to an edge, because I really do think that, as you said, we need to have Dallin with a combination with the centre inside of him. I think it's probably been the bigger issue that everyone's not really looking at, is that right edge has just had that many different combinations. That's the reason why we have defensive breakdowns down there. So I'm thinking Ali's going to have to come in and get a couple of games under his belt before finals for sure.
Yeah. Okay. We'll keep an eye out for that, everyone. Keep an eye out for even CNK right now. If that's just a test to see how he rolls. And then I think the 24-hour cutoff will give us a clear outline. So Friday night, guys, be ready for that to come. Okay, let's go now to the Titans, the Shower Boys. We had O'Brien last week in Ponga. Man, all these bottom feeder teams are having issues, but Des had to pull them out of the shower. Isn't that the worst, to get it out of the shower? You know, you're just enjoying your shower. Get out. What? Get cold again. You're like, oh my goodness.
That sucks, man.
What's happening at the Titans, man? Are they in free for all kind of, or is this a Des master plan to try and reinvigorate, try and regenerate the season? And what's your read on the Titans overall right now?
Yeah, I think that it's obviously a season full of failure at the moment, especially just the tenure of Desi Hasler at the moment. Him going to the Gold Coast Titans gave him a lot of hope. I even looked at it and went, the Gold Coast are going to switch around now. They've got an experienced head coach that has been to the big dance, and he knows how to get teams like this to perform. But unfortunately, the Gold Coast steals another soul, which is what I first thought when I saw that video. I thought that it was the moment of him cracking and just saying, that's it, I'm over this. But listening to James Graham and the discussion of apparently you listened to it as well, where it didn't happen before them all sitting down. Apparently he acknowledged the side, went to his press conference, and this happened after that. So the boys were okay to go for a shower. That's like the boys will be doing what they're supposed to be doing. But it's kind of like Desi's trying to show the Gold Coast Titans, or just the team in general, the higher ups, that he still cares, and he wants to fight for the side and just be like, I'm still the leader out there. But I don't know. It was a crazy look, and I feel sorry for those Gold Coast Titan boys, as you said, getting out of the shower in the cold, man. But especially, I know how cold it was in Sydney. It's crazy.
Yeah. These boys just enjoying, singing their songs in the shower, and then, hey, get out of the shower, bro. Let's crack up, bro. But yeah, I mean, look, it's similar to O'Brien. I don't think we should take this lightly at all.
Nah.
That might have been the kick up the butt that he wants to get a reaction out of them. And we know the Titans, they did a double on us, but let's not even where they are right now, let's not take them lightly. They might come over and nah, bro, we're gonna do this for Des. He's put his heart on the line there. And so let's be very, very careful about how we deal with these guys.
100%.
In my opinion. And nothing in the NRL is for free, man. Nothing. No game, no nothing. You rock up a 5% short, percentage short, the other team will kill you, bro. So
exactly right. We almost saw it on the weekend with the Newcastle Knights. That maybe there was a little bit of complacency in some areas in that game as well. We don't need that at home at Gold Coast, and especially when I'm coming over to New Zealand to watch the boys play and go media. I don't want to see it.
Don't ruin it. Okay, man, we're going to get into a combined 17, guys. I was going to share the screen right now. And we'll talk about the Titans boys as we do.
Yeah.
Let me just check if my that's probably there. Okay, let's go now. And there's some talent in that team still, it's not to say they're not. We'll start with left wing. So we got Roger. Is it versus Philip Sami?
Yeah, Philip Sami's left wing, yeah, at the moment.
I personally would go Roger. Philip Sami's a good winger on his day, and he's had some success against the Warriors in previous years. Where are you going with this one, Ash? I'll go Roger. You happy with that?
Yeah, I'm gonna go Roger for sure. If there's any of my boys that are watching this, I rate Philip Sami a lot. I think he's a guy that's full of a ton of effort. He's got some really good ability. When I'm looking at the Gold Coast Titans as well this year, and their statistically where their players sit, he's actually one of their better statistical players. Like he's their best yardage player in the competition for run meters. I think he's got the top for line breaks. He's right up there for the top for the tries this year as well. So under Tino Fa'asuamaleaui, I think he's probably been their best sort of consistent player as well. I think he's played pretty much every game from this year as well. But it's Roger all day of the week.
Roger all day of the week, yeah. No, harder. Okay, let's go now to fullback, CNK versus AJ Brimson.
Good battle.
Good battle there. And Brimson's no scrub. He's a good, solid footy player. Is he a future Origin guy for you, Ash, or not quite? He might sit on the periphery for Queensland.
He was, bro. He played Origin for us in that unwinnable series, the 2020 series from memory, the COVID year, where we ended up beating the Blues there. He had great moments, but because he pledged for England, he won't have the ability to do so in the future. But I think that. Yeah. My thing with AJ has always been a very, very good fullback. Just injuries have hurt him. He was like our James Tedesco from Wish for the Queenslanders out there. But just unfortunately injuries could always hampered him. He's got a lot of talent. But if we're going consistency, I think Chance maybe just edges this out. Only just.
Yep. We'll give it to our boy Chansey, who hopefully comes back strong after injury. What was Chance's injury anyway? I've forgotten. What did
he knee injury. It was some.
I don't think it was right. Was that the Broncos game? I can't remember which game it was.
It was the Broncos game. Yeah, halftime came off.
That's right. He came off at halftime. Yeah, got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Zelezniak versus Jalen de Groot. De Groot bagged a double, I think, last week.
Yeah.
I mean, he's kind of a guy that comes in and out, I suppose, de Groot. You go with Dallin, I suppose, based on his experience, and I'd probably still go Dallas. Why'd you go?
Yeah, I'm going Dallin Watene-Zelezniak, and it's by a distance. Jalen de Groot is a fullback. He played a good game on the wing over the weekend, but he's only played a couple of games on the wing there. He's a fullback. Dallin is an out-and-out winger, and I think that I know there's a lot of discussion around Dallin, but he's a good winger in this competition. He is.
Yep. We'll go with our man Dell there. Okay, Pompey. I think Pompey's left center. Yep. Pompey versus
Brian Kelly.
Oh, okay. Brian Kelly. So I went with the Spanish ho-ho. The Spanish pronunciation. Ho-ho for Peter.
I love it.
Brian Kelly. Brian Kelly, how's he been going this year? He is kind of a dynamic. He's rocks and diamonds though, isn't he?
He really is. Yeah.
When he's on his day, he's blooming. He's electric.
Yep.
Yeah, I got to go with that man Pomps. We love the Pomps here at Wise Up TV. Did you go Pompey there?
Yeah, going Pompey here. He's had a more consistent season. This has probably been Brian Kelly's one of his worst seasons from memory. I'm pretty sure he had a season back in 2017 or 18 where Easton Masters, I think, stole his spot for a little period. But since then, I think this has probably been Brian Kelly's worst season. It just hasn't had any impact for the Gold Coast Titans and hasn't had too many of those diamond games that I've seen in the past.
Yeah. Okay, now we're going to Kirk Catewell and Ho-Ho for Feeder. Which one are you going to go with?
I'm gonna go Jojo. I think Jojo is a really solid talent in first grade. He showed some good ability with the Titans as well for these last couple of games when they've gone fairly poor. Kurt Gatewell, I've loved what he's produced for us in the center position. And again, like, I'm going an out-and-out center here with Jojo Fafita. I think that he probably deserves a spot there. Nothing on Kurt there, but
Yeah.
I think an out-and-out center is probably the way to go.
Yeah, no, fair enough. He's a guy that we would love to target, wouldn't he? Because he gives you that versatility of wing play and center play and those types of things.
Very good player.
Okay, the halves. Harris DeVita versus our man Foz. Man, Foz retiring. Man, what a career he's had.
100%.
He's been around the traps, man, to play this long and have a pretty career that he's had. I haven't really been watching much of Foz. I love Foz, but what do you make of who wins this battle for you?
Yeah, I'm just going to sway the way of Chanel Harris DeVita here. Or not just. I think this season Chanel's been the better player for sure. Foz is just, obviously, he's towards the end of his career right now. He's pretty much on the last legs there. But Foz, incredible career that he's had. As you said, early in his career, he was honestly such a pleasure to watch out there. How hard he worked in that 6 jersey, how deep he used to play into the line. He was such a great player, and I hope that after his career he gets a good spot, maybe in coaching or something like that, and ends up giving his experience to the kids coming up, because he's got a lot of good experience there wrapped up in that head.
Yep. Okay, we're gonna go for the ex-Titans, Tanner Boyd versus Jaden Campbell. I feel like, even though I haven't watched much Campbell, I just feel I'm going to go Campbell. Would I be right in saying that? Has he been hit and miss lately?
This one's a tough one. It's like, what's playing in my head. Like, the out-and-out player, the better player is Jaden Campbell for me. Like, Jaden can do anything really on that football pitch, really. Defensively, he's been his only sort of area where he needs to work on, and I think he's been fairly good at it this season. Tanner's the better out-and-out 7 at the moment. Yeah. Like, as a 7. But I think we may have to go the way of Jaden Campbell, just on the ability of himself. And, we've seen it firsthand against the Warriors, some of the things he can do on that football pitch. So we're going Jaden Campbell.
Yep. Gives you a bit of an X factor. But you're probably not a traditional 7 that can organize and control a game. And that might still sway towards the way of Tanner. Being able to control that team, move them around the park, all that type of stuff.
Exactly.
Okay, let's go Fisher Harris with Jackson Ford, Moyaki Fotuaika, and Jamin Jolliffe. Which way are we gonna? Who's the top 2 props in that amongst those 4?
If you want me to be completely honest, and this is even with a guy that's touched Origin as well, I'm gonna go James Fisher Harris and Jackson Ford. I think that they're the 2 better props there. I think that if Jackson Ford was a Maroon, and if he wasn't a New South Wales boy, and he got a little bit more spotlight, I reckon he would have had some. People would have probably made around about Maroon's camp as well. So I'm going to go those 2. I think they've been the best in form comparatively out of those 4 there. I think Jamin Jolla's been in and out this year. And Mo Fotuaika's definitely had one of his poorest seasons, I believe, anyway, in first grade this year.
We'll go Jackson 4. I got no issue with that. I think he's been awesome. Lock. You got Aaron Clark versus Cleese Haas. Where you going with that one? I'm definitely Clark, obviously, for me.
We're going Aaron Clark every day of the week. But shout out to Cleese Haas. Good defensive
player.
He's not
a bad player, Cleese.
Not a bad player at all.
Player. Yeah.
No. I think that he just needs to find himself in a good system, in sort of sense, and you'll probably see the best out of him. But Aaron Clark's leaps and bounds a better lock at the moment.
Yep.
Probably lock of the year, you'd reckon, eh? Should be.
Should be, the way he's playing. I'd have to definitely give it to him. Okay, let's go now to back row. Leysima versus, is it Bo Fermor or is it Chris Randall?
Bo Fermor's the left side. Yeah.
Right, so Leysima versus Bo Fermor. You can't go past Leysima right now, man.
No, we can't go past our boy. Bo Fermor's a good player, though. Really good player. Touched Origin this year. I would have had him in the Moros camp again. Billy obviously saw something in him, maybe defensively. Like, he does have defensive frailties, Bo Fermor. But I think that, yeah, the upside of Lecker, I think at the moment, Lecker is just really informed. So I'm going Leysima there.
Let's go now to right edge. We got New Corder versus Chris Randall. I haven't really watched Chris Randall. How's he been tracking?
Yeah. Again, I go back to probably one of his poorest seasons this season. He's got a ton of effort in him. That's what Chris Randall brings to this, this Titans side. I don't like him on the edge. I think he's just been moved there as more of a defensive stopgap. And yeah, just a bit of errors in his game at the moment. I'm going Watene-Zelezniak by a little bit here at the moment. And this is for a guy that I like Randall. I prefer Randall in the middle.
You
sort
like
of
Randall,
doing his work through the middle.
Yep. And hooker, I missed hooker. Wade Egan versus Sammy Virals. There you go, our man Egan.
Going our man Wado.
Do you think that was a try?
Too.
You think that was a try? You're not.
I do.
No, he's going to. Oh yeah, I do.
But I could see, like, when they slow-mo and when his elbow touches the ground, I said to my missus, like, I bet you they take this off him just because they're going to run by, like, the direct letter of the law is when that, like, ball-playing arm touches the ground. But for me, like, when you watch it in fast motion, it's all in one motion, so I would have gave it a try. But then again, I'm a Warriors fan, but, yeah.
But no, I think actually when his elbow's down... Oh, yeah, anyway. I
think what hurts the most, bro, is... when you saw that one not giving it a try, and then you saw Dan Gaggai's giving it a try, and I was like, "All right, now."
Margie was watching. I was watching Margie. I was thinking he's been watching the British and Irish Lions the night before, and he saw them pop an offload off the. He's been watching Union on TV the night previous.
When momentum completely stops and
stopped. Yeah, I
was like, man, could not believe that. So that was where I was like, if they just took both of them off him, I was like, yeah, all right, I can see it that way. But when you take Wade Egan's off and you give that one, I just look at it and go, what are we doing here?
This is and I'm just gonna have a little break just to talk about this. But my biggest gripe with a lot of these referees and the bunker, they know they stuff up one play. They immediately in their heads think I'm gonna have to make that up somewhere. They just miss. Like if you make a mistake, just continue the flow of calls. Like don't mess with what's happening because they stuffed up the blooming Bradman Best one where he tapped it back. I thought this was flat and was going backwards. Like and then
me too.
And then I think they try to make up for that for ones like with Egan no try. It's like you guys just if you make a mistake, it's all good. But don't try and recorrect it. You start to mess with then you let him Mars you down the other. It's like you guys have no control of it
just makes it worse for themselves. I completely agree with you, bro. That was my first thought with the Wade Egan one. Is when that moment coming, and then even the referee talking to Gagai after that moment and saying, "Listen, we're going to disagree on some things and stuff." I was just looking at it going, "You took that try off us just because you knew that was going to be a real sore." Sort of look on the game due to that.
Yeah, it
that
would.
knockback.
Yeah, because it would look unfair because you've made two calls now that are controversial for the Warriors and the balance and the swing of six agains and all that stuff will add up and then the Knights will look bad when. Yeah, I can't stand it. Like even as a Warriors fan, if you make one bad call, sweet, don't change your energy and try and make don't try and give us five, six agains to kind of counteract what you. But they do it all the time. They do it. It can't be. It's at least in my eyes, it's proven. You see games just like energy just shifts all of a sudden. You're like, how is that possible? We were on top. The Jackson Ford strip, I was like, there's just so many calls. You're like, how are you I just couldn't. Atkins for me, I don't really like him as a referee. But he just changed his energy up. He just
I know. It came to. I felt like he got. I think Atkins is pretty bad for it, where he's very whistle happy. He wants to be hands on in the game as much as he can be, instead of kind of allowing the game just to flow and allow it to happen. So I kind of felt like early on there was some moments where I was like, oh, the Knights are getting a little bit of the rough end of the stick here. And then it swayed back in our end. And I was like, oh, we're getting some tough ones here too. What's going on here, bro? But it just ended up being a kerfuffle, honestly.
It becomes, and it ruins people's enjoyment of the game. It just ruins it.
Yeah.
And that's where you start to feel sorry for the other team because they got some bad calls. But the reality is, bro, refs just if you stuff up, okay, that's fine. Don't go and try and catch up and make up. It's like a guy that's got multiple women. He's trying to manage, and one's a bit upset. Oh, okay, I'm gonna go give you some love, and then the other side
Yep.
piece is asking for some attention. He goes over there and gives. We're not designed to have multiple women. My bad, bit of a sidetrack there, but you know what I mean.
Some people will argue otherwise, brother.
yeah.
I love it.
Anyway, let's go now to the bench. We got a makeup of Tamaide, Laban, Dimitrik, and Tane Smith. Then you got Jacob Alec, Regan Campbell Gillard, far out. Isaac Fa'asua Maleawi. Is that Tino's brother?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And Josh Paxton. It should just be Patson, not Paxton.
It's pronounced Patson, yeah. My missus' cousin plays with him at his Swiss Jets. He's a very good player too, by the way. So we'll have to keep an eye on him. He's only had his second game in first grade here. So
okay. Nah, man. So you know this fella?
I don't know, but I've watched him play. Yeah, very good player. He's been waiting for his sort of shot in the Titans, and he's kind of getting it now with their season kind of going the way it is.
What's happened with Regan Campbell Gillard? Has he dropped off? Is he on the way out? Kind of.
Yeah, he's been fairly poor for him this season. And a key signing that was supposed to be good experience and to lock up their middle and kind of help him have that extra rotation with Tino and stuff. He just hasn't fulfilled what they've really wanted out of him. He has some key errors in him. Defensively, he can look lackluster. So he's just not the Regan Campbell Gillard as what we all remember back in the day.
Yeah, man, a great player. I've always rated him when he was at the Eels. He was very good front row. Okay, man. So where does that put us? Do we go to Maide? Are we happy with the Tamaide in that 14 utility role?
Yep, right there. I'm pretty. I'm exactly. I think this is going to be our bench.
Our total bench. Do. Yeah.
Yep. I really do.
We'll just call it. We'll call it what it is. No need to play around and be kind. We'll put all of our boys in there. And they've been. I think the bench has been really good in terms of stability. They're offering actually a bit of impact at the moment.
Agreed.
Which has been really, really helpful. Just getting their names in there. And I've liked Stale Smith too. I like his role. He's coming on to play good on him for. This is a guy that wasn't getting any look in. He debuted this year against the Dolphins. Yeah. Now look at him. He's actively playing now. And you might argue, he wouldn't have been in there if it was Barnett was in the team. Obviously, Jackson Ford probably take his spot, but good on him, man, for earning that spot and being patient. And a lot of these guys, they've been in the Cup team for a good 3 years now. They've been very, very patient. So full
and honestly, bro, with Tane Smith too, just to add on to your point there, I've watched Tane through, again, he came through that same sort of SG ball sort of period as Leysima. And I saw him and Leka, and I was looking at him as well and saying, this kid's got the potential to be a future captain for us. He's defensively just so sound for a young bloke. And then last year in Cup, he just had a real down year. I don't know whatever happened there. He just looked uninterested. He didn't really keep up with the pace. And then he must have real knocked it down in preseason, bro, because he's just jumped the queue basically. Tom Arley's fallen out of the queue. Tane Smith just jumped up, and Bunty Afola's fallen out a little bit. Tane Smith has jumped up there. So shout out to Tane. He's had an incredible year, and it's all the way down to him just knuckling down and working hard and proving himself on the big stage.
Yeah, full credit to him, man. Full credit. Yep. Okay, guys, that is your Warriors team. I think only 2 made the cut from the Titans. Still a good team. I know some 100%. Of these things when you do these Combine 17s, it paints a picture. Oh wow, we're just so much better. But just underneath them is quality talent. So let's not kid ourselves here that they will have every right to to have a shot at winning if we come slightly off our game as well. So, but anyway, we'll leave that there, people. Get us back up and running. Sorry. Let's get now into score prediction. Ash, what have you got? How's the game looking for you? And actually, you're going to come over and watch the game at Mount Smart for the first time.
Yeah.
So you'll get to see the environment. But what are you expecting from the Warriors versus the Titans this Saturday?
Yeah, I think that, again, this feels like a game that the Titans are going to have a real good rev up and give it a red-hot crack for sure. The Titans have been playing good footy against us for the last couple of seasons. So that's, I'm sure they're going to try and turn up on a day. But if we're going to be 100%, like if the Warriors are really continuing to run home, we should be winning this game. For me, like I'd love to see a 13+. I can think we can do it in both sort of senses of the way. If we just play to our system, there's no Tino. As T Mackey's put up here, no Tino, no Dave Fafita, who's been in and out all season. I think the Warriors can get this done by a decent margin by pushing it out late. Very similar to the Tigers game. I think the Titans will try to end up falling on their own sword. So I'm going to go a 30 to 16 game, I think, around about that sort of range.
Yeah, that would be very nice. Especially for a traveling Ash and wife to just have an enjoyable evening. We don't want to stress them out. We don't want them to come away to be unhappy.
The key is, bro, for me, also just quickly, is Tane Boyd going up against his old club. Usually when you got a guy going up against his old club, you want to prove himself. So he may take another level in this game, which I'm very, very excited to see. As long as he plays within his framework, plays within his system, not try to overplay his hand, I think he can kick the Titans to death. And I think, as I said before, the Titans, they can fall on their own sword. They had some poor areas and poor moments. We saw the Tigers game of the weekend, game all tied up. They have these dumb moments, right, where the penalty right in front of goal to push the Tigers out to a 2-point lead, with 5 minutes left or a 7-minute left. So they have moments like that in them. Again, they could be up for this game, but I think we should be good enough to push out a margin here.
Absolutely. Okay, there you guys have it. Definitely could kind of run away with this type of game here. And just quickly, Ash, while we're here, we've got the meet and greet on Saturday. Who in the chat are you kind of looking forward to meeting in the flesh? I think for me, T Mackey's coming. I definitely know T Mackey. He can chop it up. You see the comments he puts in.
I love it.
T Mackey's one of I think I could yarn for T Mackey for maybe probably the whole time. But yeah, who are you looking forward to seeing if you can remember who's rocking up?
100% everyone. And shout out Auntie there in the chat as well. Just jumping in there late there. Shout out Auntie. Appreciate you coming through. T Mackey, Tahi. Tahi, bro, if Tahi's coming. Jazz, if Jazz is coming. They've all been good. Tarns, is Tarns not coming?
No, Tarns is coming now. Yeah. Tarns.
No way. Yeah. I'm keen to chop it up with Tarns. She's always been a big favorite of mine as well. So honestly, I'm excited to see everyone. Meet Josh. Obviously, see you guys again. Yeah. I can't really. I don't have favorites, bro. No one has favorites.
Yeah.
But I'm very excited, bro. I'm very excited.
Well, no, it should be good. And love to our man Jazz. He's unfortunately can't make it. He's over in Oz, but we know Jazz would have loved to have been there. I mean, if he drives to Newcastle, he can definitely.
Oh yeah, he was hitting me up the other time, bro. I wish I was there, man. Honestly, I wish we didn't have to fly home. So. Oh no, I think Levon's fallen out. Here we go. You there, Levon? All right, steering wheel is going to have to get taken over here. Hopefully he's okay. He's frozen on the screen. There we go. He's back.
Jazz. I was talking about Jazz might have criminal records, and I think he shut down my internet. So that's why he might not be. He might have. As soon as I said that, it shut down. So Jazz might have superpowers, bro. I swear.
Shout out.
But just quickly want to acknowledge our man Norpeter. Norpeter, thank you very much, bro. You've been so kind. And it's been good chatting on Instagram. I hope what we talked about DWZ a little bit, that's our review of it. And but it's good chatting with you, bro, and appreciate your support. It's been massive.
Yeah.
Okay, man. Let's go now to who'll be up first post upside down asleep in the bush. Oh my goodness! It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy.
I can't wait.
Yeah, man, can't wait. And Strictly, how can I forget Strictly? Absolutely, he's
Strictly,
going to be there.
for
Strictly going to be
sure.
good to talk to you, man. But it's going to be scary talking in the flesh with these people. It's like, hey, what's your name? Hi, I'm Strictly. Oh, hey, Strictly. Like you have to put faces to actual people. These are people. These are human beings. They're going to catfish.
I
Nah,
know,
we got
bro. Nick, yeah, jokes. Shout out, bro. I'm really
Nick going to
excited.
catfish by everyone. No one's there. No one rocks up. It was all a setup. Nah. All love. Okay, man. Let's get into the girls, man. Wahine, they were dominated pretty much by the Knights. Good game though. There are some
Great
really
game.
good moments, and again, I always take the view of that we're progressing, that we're it's a learning curve. You can tell that I think, and if I've seen the team list this week, and there's a few changes, so I think Ron's slowly trying to get to his top 17 a little bit, in my opinion.
Yep.
But he's giving girls opportunities to get used to the grind of NRL. And you can start to see some of the girls are starting to feel the grind. The travel's adding up. And remember, I watched an amazing video with Uppy. She's a full-time police officer. They go to training at 4:30. It's not like the boys where they get to sleep in and rock up at 10 or whatever they do. And
exactly,
that's their whole. These girls are working, so you can start to see the wear and tear. And actually, Jazz was talking about it. I messaged him about how it's so late even now. 8 o'clock it starts late on a Sunday night. Now you got to fly back, and then you got to take care of your kids, get back into work. It's like you can see that just a little bit of those things weighing up. So, but what do you make of the girls? You get a chance to watch the girls, and what do you make of them, the game?
Yeah, of course, I was on a major high from the Lecker performance there at the end of the game, and then moving over to the girls. And I kind of agree. Like, I don't understand why they did put it on like after the game. I would have preferred it to do the lead up of the game, so people are obviously getting in and like seeing the girls and in their action. I do feel like maybe like because of the home ground advantage for the Knights, with the whatever happened with Lecker there, that all the Knights fans kind of just went home. And I think Jazzy kind of said that. So I wish they kind of filtered that out, especially for New Zealand fans out there too. Like, to you guys to watch that game, you were having to stay up at like 8 o'clock and that as
10,
well.
Yeah, it didn't finish till 10. So you can imagine the girls. Like I said, just it all piles up when you're a working mum and all those things. That's just how I see it. But yeah,
100%. But I think the Knights had a really good early advantage in this game. I think they had majority of the ball for a period there. I think we only had a small period. I think there was one where I think they got up to like 10 to 15 sets, the Knights, and we only had like 6. So, the girls, to concede the way that, like, they did concede some points there, but there was some positive moments in behind there as well. I thought, I was speaking with Varney actually on the weekend because, I caught up with Varney when we went down to Sydney. So Varney Politi. And we're just talking about, NRLW and stuff, and what she was saying with the Warriors girls, comparatively to some other teams in the comp, they are finding a way to score points now. Like, they can score points, like they can defend as well. We've seen them defend against the Eels. So they're showing some moments and parts of the game that they're very good at. Once they put it all together, they're going to be a very, very scary side in this competition. So big shout out. Like, Patricia, again, week in, week out, is someone that I just, like, I love watching. I think that she's an incredible NRLW talent. Her goal kicking as well, like, for the positions that she had to try and goal kick over the weekend, her kicks were so good, like, so nice, the nice power. She only missed a couple due to the positioning of it on the sideline, but she hit a couple of really nice ones. I think both our centers are having really good moments at the moment as well. I've been really enjoying their game. And also just slight little performances here. I think that with Taki Moana, obviously the 3-piece there, in the corner, I thought that she had a cracker game as well. I thought Michaela, definitely got handled fairly early on. She had some moments in this game as well. I think that the more time these girls have together, the better their performances will go. And this is against a very strong Knights team that has had premiership pedigree. So I'm not too down on the performance in that sort of sense.
Yeah, it was a good game to see, like how you can see how the Knights girls are just moving around the park, getting yardage, how their attack's much more fluid. Again, going back to this as a pedigree and a system, even if you take Ron out of the system as a premiership winning coach, it's still very solid. Like the system and structures there. Whereas our girls, you can see they just time on the ball. I feel for them, it's almost like they haven't had much time on the ball to work through a lot of their attacking shape. You can just tell they're not quite clicking yet.
Yeah.
But despite that, the defensive as a unit has been as good as it can be. I just thought Southwell just kind of really, death by 1,000 paper cuts with them. With the grubber, you could just see put that pressure on them, and they finally cracked. But there was a lot of good quality to score those tries. Was great. I thought Peyton was tucking Warner was awesome. Off the on the wing there. Nice to see her finishing, good quality finishing. Good speed. I really liked her catch up speed to get involved in the play. Patricia with those kicks from the sideline, man, like she would have had four, I think, if it was one bounced off the
crossbar.
The crossbar. She's dead accurate, bro. Amazing to see that, and that's going to help you win games having that type of kicking prowess. But I just thought, just the middle forwards got a bit tired. I think Halta Butler, you could tell she was wasn't quite right. And then the other one, I forget her name, but she just we lacked a bit of punch to start the game off for sure. But the Knights just quality, I reckon.
And then Knights were really dominant in periods of this game as well. To finish the game, the girls did not start fighting. 36-20, it was only a 16-point margin. 2 tries was the difference here. 6 tries to 4. And again, as you said, if Patricia hit 2 more in conversions, that's even tighter of a margin. So full credit to the girls. And I saw a comment here. I think they're going to have really good performances at home. I agree for sure. Going away from home is probably going to be a tough test, and it's going to be a little bit more learning experience. As Webby said, he had learning experiences from 2023 to 2024 with their traveling and traveling away, whether they do it week of, stuff like that. I think the NRLW girls will have the same sort of thing to kind of learn as well. So I'm sure they can only get better from here. And as I said, I'm pretty happy with the way they started the season. I'm very happy with the way they started the season at the moment too.
Yeah, no, it's all a big learning curve. And we'll just quickly get into their team list because they've coming up against the Knights this Saturday, and they've actually made some changes. So Quidley has come in to the halves for Curtin, which I think is a good move.
I do too.
I think the evidence is there that they need halves that are a bit quicker on the pace. Emily Curtin just looks quite off the pace physically, and involvement. Passing game is quite slow at times, and whereas you see Quidley service out of dummy half when she comes on is very, very sharp. So looking forward to that combination. And then Matakino Gray is coming to the starting front row spot, which is great, I think, and push Lavinia Kitai to the bench. And it's also we've also got Avery Rose Carmont, who's a debutante, and Michaela Ellie, who also is a debutante, or I'm not sure if she is or not, but maybe. But yeah, what do you make of the changes? Is that the right call from Ron to kind of? Firstly, is it just for injuries, or is it actually no? He wants to go in a new direction with the halves with Quidley and Maliupul.
Yeah, so it's an injury that caused Curtin to be pushed out there. So Quedley comes in. I think that, I agree with you. I think that's a really good, little move there. We're going to see a little bit more pace in our halves, probably a little bit more of a run threat. I've really enjoyed, Quedley coming off the bench as well and having some impact in that hooker position. But it's obviously been pointed out it's not her best position just yet. So I'm curious to see how she goes in the 7 jersey. Going up against, a Titan side that's been very hot and cold. They got their first win from memory over the weekend. They've had some really poor moments there too. I don't think they're clicking as well. Obviously stripped away of some of their best players of Vania Polite and Shannon Martor. But when we're going up against a girl like, Georgia Hale.
Sorry, I'm just reading this comment.
Yeah. Shout out, Rodney. You're a crazy man. Georgia Hale just gives off anytime we play a Kiwi player in the NRL, they always step to a new level. Georgia Hale's a massive Warriors fan, and she's a great NRLW player. You can tell she's going to be on one. So I'm very excited to see how the girls go there, bro. And I think we can get it done there for sure. I think a 1-12 contest, the Warriors can get it done with their defense for sure.
Yeah, 1-12. Sure. You just got to be careful with Chapman at the back. But like Uppy, I think Uppy was a little bit quiet that game. Would love her to be a bit more involved. Especially in the kind of the attacking shape at times. I I just want to personally see a bit more fluidity from the girls. They're still there, and when they're in a good attacking ball, they're just the passings all over the shop.
Yeah.
Some of them are doing no looks. I'm like, you haven't earned the right to do a no look.
Yeah, not yet. Not yet.
Not quite yet. And just we just want to see some more. The yardage game's picking up. I think they've got a good structure in terms of getting up the field, but I think definitely in the red zone, just want to continue to improve on that. Anyone in the chat, or maybe you know about Carmont or Michaela Ellie? Are they?
I haven't seen too much of them at all. I think
Sevens background, or not too sure
possibly.
what they are. Yeah, it might be Sevens. But good opportunity for them too, and get to see some of the depth really start to come through and see what they can do. I think it's definitely one of those years where you get to know your team, and you live with the highs and lows. But if you can build a good group for next year, then we will find out this year. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. I'm very, very excited to see what the girls can do there against the Titans, and very excited to see it out there live. I'm very, very can't wait to see it.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be real good. We'll finish the the meet and greet, Ash, and you just walk straight into the stadium and go watch the girls, bro. So yeah,
let's go.
That'll be there. Okay, just to kind of wrap things up, the Cup boys, I think it was, they won again, 13. Far out, these guys are on a roll. There's like a Goldberg streak. You know, remember Goldberg? I don't know if you remember Goldberg or not, but they had the Goldberg streak in WCW. It's like, it's funny because I was watching the Goldberg thing, and I think they were even because they were counting house shows with Goldberg. You know, the off air shows, and so one week he'd be a 10 game winning streak. And then he'd come back and he'd won. It was 35-0. You know, like it was like he'd fought like there was some games where there was some actual. There's no way that he could have made those numbers up, but they were trying to buff up his numbers. But the Cup was 13-0, pure wins.
I remember those days. Yeah.
Mate, how are they tracking along? And how's Jet Cleary really been going as well? Which is nice to see him get that look, because I know people. It was almost a year ago, and we were saying, "Hey, everyone, hold your horses." He's going to be in flag, he's going to, but now he's getting some reps in Cup. What do you make of that?
Yeah, it's still hold your horses just a tad, but very, very good experience that he's had there. Like, consistently having great moments with ball in hand, getting the boys around the park, putting them in positions to fire, and in which we did in this game. I thought Ali Letoa had some really nice silky touches out the back of fullback there too. Shows that the ability that he possesses. Sio Gali, again, as we all touch on, like with the wingers and stuff like that, like he is like our best sort of prodigy winger that we have coming through. It's going to take maybe a year before we actually see him in first grade just yet, I believe anyway, when we see him, just because he's had injury troubles. But man, the kid's ability is unbelievable. Scoring 3 tries, 2 line breaks off that, 9 tackle breaks for a winger. He is an absolute handful. Also, shout out to Toby Crosby. I feel like he felt out of favor just a tad for a couple of games there, coming back into the game, scoring a try, running for 93 meters out of 10 carries there in this game. I thought he was really, really good as well. So very, very excited. And Kalani Going, I thought this was one of his best games this season as well. So a massive shout out to Kalani Going. Yeah.
Look, they keep on moving. They keep doing what they're doing. And again, I was watching... There was a bloke in a bar, one of their episodes, and they're really praising David Tangata-Toa and his work, and how Dave has to get those boys ready for first grade, and he's doing a really, really good job. So credit to Dave as well. Jersey Flag, man, they took a licking from the Storm side. I didn't realize that the Storm were that good, their development side, man. Yeah. Just one of those games where just kind of just another level above. You think, Ash, or just what do you make? What did you make of that one?
Yeah, the Storm have got some really nice development pieces coming through. Hugo Peel, their fullback's been a really high commodity there with the Melbourne Storm. Dylan Brettel as well. Shout out to Mitchell Jennings. I'm pretty sure he's a boy from Sunny Coast there as well. He's a good little young player coming through there, playing in the centres. A lot of good talent that they have there that has obviously just rolled over our boys over the weekend. Again, some good performances there from a couple of boys like Siku Vea. Very, very good performance from him. He's been very very good for us for pretty much all this flag season. I think he's been one of our standouts as well. Brendan Norris and all that also having some impact in this game, but just unfortunately just outclassed by a Melbourne Storm system that I feel like they're having a really good year in flag. I'll just have to double check where they're sitting in the ladder, but I think they're having a fairly good season as well.
Top of the table, yeah. I think they're kind of up there.
Yeah, top of the table. So they're a great season this season.
Yeah. No, that's all good. You know, development's all about the learning and the growth, and wishing our boys, still great experience to learn every week and play regular footy. You know, so
I think the Warrior Holic puts it very well in the sense of like, you know, over the weekend our New South Wales Cup team was littered full of our flag talent that's jumped up because our other talent has jumped up again. So. Again, we have such a stacked development, depth system in NRL. But when we come into these moments, Jet Cleary stepped up. There's a lot of key players that have stepped up there in flag. And they go against the best team in the competition. Unfortunately, we're going to have losses like this. So I'm not going to hold it against them too much. As long as they bounce back next week and learn from their losses.
That's a great point. That talent is. And I remember always the words from Cappy and his that they're no longer holding experienced players in cup. It's all about feeding into the next level, and that's really benefiting the guys. And you're going to have some down patches until that next lot of talent comes through, and then it just builds and builds. Let's just quickly touch finally, man, on the news about the Warriors signing up with the Logan City Council. I think
big one.
To build some development, and that's more in your territory, and you have an understanding of how these kind of council deals work and what does it look like. What's your view on how this is going to work with the Warriors signing up with them? Like, what does that mean for us, in your opinion?
Yeah, consistently year in, year out, playing junior footy, especially if you're playing Brisbane League footy. Everyone that's played Brisbane League footy know where some of the best talent sit and lie, and it always sits and lie around that Logan area. So the Warriors have pinpointed probably one of the best development areas in rugby league in southeast Queensland. It's more of a western part of Queensland and southeast, formalities, but very, very good area, very, very good catchment. Again, when we talk about names that have come out of there, Cam Smiths of the world, stuff like that have come out of that area. We're talking the top of the tree, but also the Pacifica talent that come out of that area as well is major. So I think the Warriors have really keyed in on a great area here. Some kids that probably will go, the Gold Coast Titans and the Broncos have fought over this area, and they've had some really good talent coming through. Gold Coast get a lot of Australian schoolboys from this area as well. So I think it just improves our junior development tenfold. So not just building from home, but building over in Australia. I think that it's a very smart move from the Warriors, and I think that it can only go very, very well. Again, I remember my days playing on, those Southside teams. If you're in Brisbane, you already know it's a tough day out. It always is.
Tough day out, eh?
It's a tough day out.
That's great because, look, I think rugby league, I think the Warriors have looked too inward at times and have allowed other teams just to come over and set up camp here in New Zealand. And it's like, well, there's no technical rules, bro. And any territory can be yours if you strike up a deal and that type of thing. So the fact that we're doing the other way is like a sign to me, like, wow, we've actually opened up our mindset as a club, like to let's not be so insular. We're going to protect all of our ARL clubs and all of our regional areas. That's where we're going to find our talent. It's like, no, we're going to find talent in strongholds of Logan, where there's Pacific talent, there's Māori talent there that are there's other talent there that we can tap into. Like, we're acting like a proper club. Which I'm probably pretty much trying to say. We're acting like a proper club. That means, we mean business. We want to win. We want to produce talent and take it to another level. So I'm blown away by that. When I saw that, I was like, holy crap. Like, we've been recruiting from Penrith systems and other systems, but now it's like, no, we're going to help develop. It's going to be good for the area too. They're going to get more development through there. But there'll be a Warriors culture, ingrainment, viewing the Warriors in the light of an option. Like, man, actually, I can go back to New Zealand and play for Warriors. That'd be pretty mean. And they can come over Jersey flag for a little bit and then go back. That type of thing. I don't know.
Exactly right, bro. As soon as I heard the news, I was like the biggest smile on my face because I knew how much of a talented area that is of rugby league football, especially in Australia. There's been such a big fight when new NRL teams come into the competition that it would be in that Ipswich and Nala, Logan area because it's such a big catchment and it's littered full of some of the best like rugby league talent that we have.
Yeah.
Coming through my juniors, it was you saw some of the best talent coming through there. So this, as you said, it just shows that we are building from home. We built our base. We've done some great areas there, but we're building it's like we're posting our flag in these areas and we're taking over. You know what I mean? This is what gets us into a bigger club in that sort of sense. Like the Broncos have always had a big stronghold in this area. The Titans have had some moments here as well. But we just come over and said, nah, we're going to take over here and we're going to take a lot of the best talent here. It can only get better from here. So I'm very, very excited to see what we can get out of this area.
It's like playing a game of, I don't know if you play Catan or what's the Carcassonne? Have you played those board games?
Nah, bro.
You're trying to build your cities up, and then someone else comes and builds their city on your area.
And you turn.
Hey, get lost, get out of my space. But me and my wife love to play board games for those in the chat. Yeah, so Carcassonne and Catan, it's like those ones where you're building settlements and you're trying to get to your end goal, but it feels like we're going into Gold Coast and Brisbane's territory. We're like, hey, we're gonna build our little settlement here. We're gonna just. And then next minute we become a city and we start to own Brisbane.
That's exactly how I felt, and people know like how big Queensland talent and stuff like that is at the moment. And we've got probably the best area in Queensland, I believe, to find rugby league talent. I really do believe that, and full credit to the Warriors for making a jump on this decision. And with hearing that, I got to make it. We're gonna have to play a board game sometime over there.
We're gonna play some board games, man. Yeah. Nah, we love it. Me and my wife love the board games. Carcassonne, Catan. I think of all the other ones we play. You play even Sequence, bit of Rummy Cub, bit of Last Card.
I love this. I love hearing this.
Yeah. So we'll get into it, man. But okay, guys, that wraps up the show. Massive show. We've got to let our man Ash get some sleep because he's got to do his last couple shifts before he's back on the road again. So Ash, thank you once again, my friend. Just lastly, how's the pro teams going and what are you doing for content? I hope everyone's been going over to Ash Thomas on YouTube to watch some cool pro teams. I don't even play the game, but I just love watching Ash and just sitting there and just seeing him play a game of footy. And but what have you got content wise the next day or so?
So no down unders tomorrow night, me and Brody. So I might end up just jumping on and play pro teams. Brody, unfortunately, has been a little bit under the weather at the moment, so we're just going to cancel the show just to make sure we're all good. And also, I want to make sure I'm all settled, ready to go to New Zealand as well. So, but yeah, no down unders, but do keep an eye out for a stream. I wouldn't lie to you guys if you want to watch my pro team content. I'm not the greatest player in the world, but the new coins have just been added to everyone's account. I have just tasted it a little bit, and you're going to have to see the player that I got I got 2 packs that I opened, and I got 2 gun players out of it. So very, very excited to catch up with you guys there on pro teams, and you guys can have a laugh with me. Again, not the greatest player in the world, but I love a good chat, so I can't wait to see you guys there.
Just quickly from Mackie, what seats are you in, Ash? Are you in the east stand somewhere, eh? Do you know what bay you're in?
East stand, I'm in section 33, row B, and I've got seats 14 and 15.
There he is, man. Write it down. Pin him on a map. Go find Ash. Are you in the box corporate leave up? Nah, man. I'm in the cheapos, bro. South stand all day, every day. We'll be there, bro. Anyway, and catch up and have a yarn. Cool, man. Awesome stuff. And Russ, we'll see you around. No doubt. So keep an eye on Russ. Unfortunately, can't come, but try and catch up with the bro Russ as well while we're there. He'll be in there a little bit late, and a few actually. They're coming a little bit later, but all good. All is good, and we'll catch up with everyone there. Thank you once again, everyone, for a massive show. See you guys Saturday. We can't wait. I saw the thing in there. Take a group photo. Yeah, we're absolutely going to take some photos, content with everyone. So be ready, and we can't wait to see you guys then. Up the wires as always. Peace.
Woo. Up the wires.
See you later.